I feel like Brian never thought that he was going to be enough.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. Well, it is breaking news. It's certainly surprising news. I don't think this is an outcome anyone would have expected. But it has been confirmed now by the FBI that the skeletonized remains are Brian's. They've been positively identified using dental records. That is why it took such a quick turnaround in order to positively identify them. We've also received word from the Laundrie attorney that they definitely are Brian's remains. And so what this indicates is that Brian very likely was deceased very early on, certainly a lot sooner, sooner than later in terms of him becoming a fugitive. And so it certainly suggests that we still don't know whether he died by his own hand or whether it was via a predator, but one does suspect that it may have been by his own hand. The other thing that I think is interesting is the short distance between the Laundrie home and where Brian's remains were ultimately found. This certainly indicates whether or not his parents helped him. It certainly indicates Brian wanted to not be too far from home. The other thing that I think we can finally get the facts on is Brian did see himself, I think, as a survivalist, or certainly someone who wanted to be on the run in nature. So that fact certainly has been borne out. Whether he wanted to do that for a very long time, well, that obviously proved not to be the case. I received a comment from someone just saying, because he has died, we will never know what happened to Gabby. That's not really the case. In the case even of people who are tried in court, you're not going to get the truth and the reality from those people. We will get a lot of information via probably an inquest and from the cell phone records and from people closer to them. The best information we can get now is regarding the dynamics of this couple. What was Brian really like as a person? What was Gabby really like as a person? And if Brian did take his own life, it does show someone who was very anxious as well, and someone who was struggling to hold it together in many ways. Often in a scenario where someone takes their own life, people don't investigate. But there's also a motive when someone takes their own life. There's also a motive to taking your own life, and people often don't go into that. The second area that I want to go into is just the location. There are some photos which may be a bit misleading that appear to show that some of the evidence was found right off a road, but I think the part that is quite important to bear in mind is that according to the Daily Mail map, Brian was hardly 3-4 miles, maybe just 2 miles from where he actually parked. And so once again, you have basic sort of true crime 101. If you're going to look for something, specialize, focus on the area immediately around where someone was either last seen or their home or both. And so that has certainly been borne out in this particular case. Think about the Casey Anthony case where Kaylee's remains were found, very, very close to home in a wooded area, also skeletonized. The final thing I want to leave you with are these brand new images that have been released today, actually, of Brian and Gabby at the Arches National Park in Moab, in the Moab area in Utah. And it just, the fact that these images have come out today just sort of puts everything into perspective, the arc of this case. And it kind of just shows you that the truth is stranger than fiction, and how much stranger than fiction the truth actually is. Be that as it may, a lot of questions remain unanswered. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.